Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I am bringing you a simple box that was not requested as such, but if you recall either last week or the week before, I decorated these tea lights, and a lady contacted me and said, do you know if there's a box for fitting 4 in? And I wasn't aware of one, and to be totally honest, I don't have the time to go looking at different videos. I just literally come into my craft room, I either have a quick look on Pinterest or I just pick some cardstock up and I start playing and creating. So if anything is cased or copied from anybody else that I haven't acknowledged or credited, then I do apologise, but generally most of my things are just come from me. I don't copy other people, and as I say, unless I do, and then I do credit them. But anyway, so my tea lights that I decorated, I thought, well, okay, the lady says, do we have a box? I said no, and then I thought, well, why not just make one? And so obviously I did. And if you remember as well, the funniest thing is I could only find 3. If you remember, I said I can't do a box or anything because I only have 3. And I actually have, if I can just grab it, it's under my desk, I have what I call my props basket. So in here is a ton of tinsel for my Christmas projects, and then I have chickens for Easter, and I have little pumpkins for Halloween, and it is mainly Christmas stuff and baubles. And then, hey presto, they were in here. I've got 3 random silver ones, you see, look there. Oh look, I've also got a little plastic rat for Halloween. But yeah, so this is what I call my props box that I have stuff in, just for when I do my photographs and I add them to my images. And I just went in there to get some tinsel for putting around one of my cards as I was photographing it, and sure enough, I found them, the silver and the gold one. So I thought, right, now I can make my box for 4. So enough waffling now. So this is the box I made. As you can see, I've just used Merry Mellow to go with the candles, and then Beautiful Dashing Deer. And of course, I can't go anywhere without using my Joyous Noel, so I've had to use the glimmer paper here. But yeah, just quite a simple little box, but I think that would make a lovely gift for someone with those 4 tea lights in. So again, just a simple box that I'm going to show and show you how I decorated the top. So grab out my scoreboard. So for the base, get the right pieces out. So for the base, oh, there's glitter everywhere, look. For the base, I have a sheet of cardstock that is 6 1/8 by 6 1/8 that I'm going to score at 1.5 inches on all 4 sides. So we have 16 centimetres by 16 centimetres, and this is scored at 4 centimetres on all 4 sides. Whilst I have my scoring board out, I'm going to do the lid as well, and I'm going to use the base as my shim. And the lid is 5 1/8 by 5 1/8, and I'm scoring this at 1 inch on all sides, and that is 14 centimetres by 14 centimetres, and it is scored at 3 centimetres on all 4 sides. Okay, so pop the lid to one side, we'll stick with the base. And as I say, it is pretty much the same same concept with all boxes, and obviously I say this every time, that we just fold and burnish. Now don't forget, we have just started a fabulous month of a little bit of an exclusive, limited time only few products. They are amazing. They're called, or they've called, Stampin' Up have called them the Snowflake Showcase, which I have also followed because I think that it sounds fabulous. I have shown them in one of my other videos. I can't recall which one because I don't generally do my videos in order. and I do them so far ahead that I forget. But yes, a fantastic suite of products. They are only limited time and while stocks last, so get in there and get ordering them, because they are amazing. I absolutely love them. I've been using them again today on another project, and I just adore them. They are so nice. Okay, so again, wet glue. Look at me, crazy. So as you can see, we're just doing as we do with any normal box. We're just going to fold and burnish those score lines and then cut our little tabs in the 4 corners. As I said, yes, I'm using wet glue because A, because I do actually quite like it. I'm just going to use some clips to hold it in place. And B, it can set while I'm doing the rest. So just make sure that's lined up. Just pop that on there. And then the last 2, just line them up. Peg on that one. Random clips. I do have an absolute jar full of these fabulous library clips, but then I have these 2 random clips on my desk that I just use occasionally. So there's my base made up. My beautiful tea lights just fit inside nicely. And so the lid, we're just going to do exactly the same as before. I'm just going to fold and burnish all of those score lines. And then we're going to cut these corners. So just exactly the same as we do with everything. Just trim, cut those little wedges out. Just makes it easier when you come to fold it up and tuck it inside. So that's that bit done. And then before I do any more, I'm going to get my 3/4 circle punch and just cut the notches out of either side. And I'm just eyeballing this, guesstimating it. Right, I'm not going to adhere it because I want to stick my pattern on the top, so I'm going to pop that to one side for a moment. So you then need a beautiful square of Whisper White, which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, or 7.5 centimetres by 7.5 centimetres. I have the beautiful Dashing Deer stamp set for this, and as you can see on this box, you will notice that I have 2 different colours within the flowers. So I've only used this single pattern. Where have I just put the stamp set? I just used this, and I've just used markers. So this one was Mossy Meadow and Merry Mallow out of the neutrals, and just to make it easier and keeping it within a suite or a colour family, I've used, or I'm going to use, Tranquil Tide and Fresh Fig for this one. Obviously my cardstock is Tranquil Tide. The Fresh Fig is just a lovely colour, so I'm going to use that one. And all I'm simply doing, let me zoom in a little bit on this and hope that it stays focused. So all I'm doing is using the brush end of my marker, and I'm just simply going over the leaves. Now you do have to be careful when you're close to the flower, because you don't want to taint the colour of the flower with the Tranquil Tide, but I just simply go over it with all of that brush tip, and then again just do my flowers, but again making sure now that you don't touch the Tranquil Tide. And then once I've coloured it in, give it a huh, and then put my head in just slightly, stamp it on your card. And you go along doing this. Now if I had any kind of brain, I would have probably prepared one earlier, but to be honest, I just haven't had the time because I am extremely busy like everybody else. So, and as you will probably know, well, as this video comes out to you, I am actually travelling down to London in in fact, no, I'm not. I will already be, hopefully, on the aeroplane to Orlando, to the Onstage Live. So I'm very excited. Even as I send this out to you, I'm very excited because hopefully it's going, well, I just know it's going to be amazing. So I truly cannot wait. So yes, so I will potentially, no actually, dependent on what time you view this, I guess, my flight is around just before midday, I believe, today, Saturday. So dependent on what time you're viewing this, I'll either be in the airport or in the air, or even landed, who knows. Right, let's find my flower because I want my flower more central in this one. And you just play around, as I say, with the inking and stamping of where you're going with this. And once you've started, you do get a bit quicker, as you can see. But you just continue the pattern down, varying sort of where you stamp. So let's go completely off on that one. And as I say, you soon get to know where the flower is and where your pattern is. And then I think just one more across the bottom there, and that should be that one done. And again, I just use either your chamois or your Stampin' Scrub. You clean this off just the same because the ink in these markers is exactly the same as the ink we use to stamp with anyway. So move those out of the way. Let's just give this another quick spritz, and then I can just show you, as I'm sure you're aware, that it just comes off as clean as it would anyway. Right, let's zoom back out a little bit, not too much because you'll see all my mess surrounding me otherwise. Right, let's move that. So that is my beautiful panel to go on here, which I'm happy to stick on now. I'm just going to use some snail. Just pop this one on. And then I want to use a small strip of this gorgeous glimmer paper. So if I remember, what did I say, 2 3/4. So let's go with, and sadly I don't have any scrap of this one, so I can't just use a little bit. So I've gone with 2.5 by 3/4 of an inch, which for me that will be perfect. I'm going to use some wet glue again because I've just got a few other bits and bobs to do, so this will hopefully stick whilst I do the rest. So I'm going to pop this almost in the centre there, and then I want to die cut my gorgeous snowflake, my gorgeous reindeer. So I'm just going to bring my Big Shot in, move those out. Where's that? Oh, here it is. So much for being prepared. So there's my precision base plate and my top plate, and then I'm going to use my detailed deer, this one. So I'll just take that out, pop that to one side, and then I'm going to use some multi-purpose adhesive sheet and this gorgeous bit of gold glimmer. So obviously if you're like me and you've got some scrap, you have to have a bit of a play around with where it will fit best, and it's going to go there. So I'm just going to trim around it because I don't want to waste either A, my glimmer, or B, my adhesive sheet. So that's the piece that I need, and then I just kind of, probably shouldn't have brought this in just yet. Too keen, you see, that's the problem. So I just need to stick this onto some of the adhesive sheet, and it is just a case of whichever you sort of think fits. And then, as you know, I'll put some of my other scissors, and then you just cut round. Again, you can see where your card is, so you just cut round where your cardstock is. And it sounds ridiculous, but try and keep to the card, and even like there where I had a little funny bit, still cut that out too, because if you don't, when you come to put in your paper underneath and on your cutting pad, where you've not cut will stick, and it's a nuisance. So it's always a bit easier to try and cut those bits out. It just helps in the long run. Right, so that's all of that. Now I need to remember which way round this went. So let's see, does that look about right? Make sure he's all in, tails and antlers and legs and everything. So there we go, just fits on nicely. And then obviously we just run it through, and I will do it twice just for good measure. Let's take him out and get rid of this. And then obviously you can just ease him out of there. And then you might find that your backing paper starts to come off. Try and keep it on if you can, because obviously trying to get it out of the die is going to be harder too. Yay, and my die brush came. So give this a good sort of rub through with your die brush, and then obviously he will hopefully just pop out of your die. You potentially will get bits everywhere. Let's bring my lid in, ready. And then just obviously take your backing off, making sure everything's the right way, and also ensure, I don't know if you can see there, there's a bit of the glimmer paper just stuck, you know, a bit of the holes that you push through. So just make sure that that doesn't stick on the back, because it will obviously give an uneven finish to it. And then just pop him on. And that's gonna, let's see if we can be cheeky and curl that round where I want it. There we go. So there's my beautiful deer. And then last but not least, beautiful itty bitty greetings. This is one of two, so there is another pack like this, but I love this, and I love 'Tis the Season. I think it's a lovely little stamp. So pop that on there. Just grab my Tranquil Tide and make sure that I've got a fairly straight edge on my card too. I'm just literally going to stamp that on there, and then I am going to use my trimmer on this one because I do want it to be straight. As you know, I usually do things by hand or by eye. Just trim that one down, and again I've left a little bit at this end because I want to add a metallic pearl. So I'm going to obviously use a gold one to go with my gold on here, which is just going to sit there. And then a couple of mini dimensionals on the back. Oops. Take those, get off, take those bits off, and then I sort of sit him over the glimmer paper, just there. And then these can come off here, and I'm going to quickly use some tear and tape on this one because I just want I want the speed of this now to be, you know, I don't want to be sort of waiting for my glue to dry. I'll tell you what, these guesstimations of length of tear and tape I've actually done extremely well on this one, unsurprisingly. Normally I'd have too much or too little, but that's worked perfectly. And then just simply take the backing off. And yes, I am aware that I've done my little notches at the front and back and not at the sides of my box lid, but because that's the way I stuck this on. I was thinking to myself when I did it, I need to make sure, and then I completely forgot. Never mind. So backing off those, and then you know how I do these. It shouldn't be a problem with you having used the shim, but I always like to make sure it's done correctly. And then I'll take that off, just give it another press, and there you go. There are your beautiful decorated LED Tealight boxes. So I hope the lady that was looking for a box finds this useful and you find them pretty enough, because I think they are beautiful with those dashing deers on. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget all the products are available to be purchased. There's a link just below in the description for my blog and also for the store where you can find all of these beautiful products. Hope to see you all again soon. Bye.